Hello, and you're very welcome to the third edition of SportsLife. I would first of all like to apologise for the length it has taken to come up with a third one, but I'm hoping that we'll be back on track to get them more regular from now on going forward. Before I get into talking about anything about sport, I must first start on a few very poignant notes. I first of all like to express my sincere sympathy to the Tobin family and all in the Simonstown Gales Club following the tragic passing of Ina Tobin was now nearly a fortnight ago. Um, her brother Sean has not only been one of the best players on the Meath club scene for many years, but has also broke into the county team in recent times. But also in more recent years has established himself as a vital member of the main senior football setup, both under Mick O'Dowd initially and more recently under Andy McEntee. And, I made no secret over the years that some of the longest standing friends I have in GA would be with the Simonstown Club and outside of my own, that is. But, you know, football and sport and a terrible lot of things pale into perspective when you see what the Tobin family have gone through in recent weeks, and no doubt will go through for many, many, God knows how long, because I can't even begin to quantify what they're going through. But it's a mark of the man that um, Sean went out and played with Simonstown the other night in the first round in the championship against Wolf Tones. What seemingly, by all accounts, was a great game between the two neighbouring clubs. And, you know, how he did it, I don't know. Even though oftentimes in seeing a case like that, it may be the best way to um, I don't know, deal with it is not the right word, but it's just so inspirational to see him out there. And by all accounts, it was a cracking game of ball. And I know because both of them are in the same group as ourselves that there'll be two teams that'll take an awful lot of beating as the year goes on. But for so many reasons, the last couple of weeks, what goes on the field really pales into insignificance when you think of what has happened elsewhere in life. And while on that point, I must also mention something which has touched the hearts of many people, both in our own club and beyond. Of course, Stuart Lowndes scored what turned out to be the winning goal for us in the county final last year, which gave me one of my happiest days, not only last year but for many years. But I just learned yesterday morning that Stuart's wife Sinead is battling very serious illness at the moment, and again, it puts sports results and everything in life really into perspective. And they as a family are going through a harrowing time. They have huge challenges ahead of them. There is a GoFundMe page having been set up. Uh, it's called Support Sinead, and I would urge anyone that can to support this family in their time of need in whatever way you possibly can. Uh, as we have seen before, all too recently with the horrendous plight that befell Sean Cox and his family, uh, the GAA and all sports, and indeed the wider community, are absolutely marvellous for coming together at a time like this, and I've absolutely no doubt that people will come to the aid of the Lewins family at a time when they clearly need our support more than ever. To go on and talk about a bit of sporting action now, I suppose. I didn't really go into that much detail about the National League Division 2 final the last time. As for myself, it was my first time in Croke Park, and it was such an adventure getting home. First time in Croke Park in 5 years, should I say. And it was such an adventure getting home that I'm not sure whether I'd be too keen to go in there again, but that is a debate for a different day. My God, the football Meath played in the first half of that match was as good a football as I've seen from a Meath team in 9 years since they had to put the 5 goals past Dublin. Now, it didn't sort of go to plan thereafter, either that day or since, but the biggest thing, there's a couple of things I'd take out. Number one, it was as good a game as I've seen Brian Menton having in a Meath jersey in a long, long time. Secondly, I think the loss of the other Brian McMahon, cannot be underestimated, because whatever it is about the Ratoath Clubman, he really seems to come to life when he gets into Croke Park. And, he really was flying. Not only had he kicked 2 points, but he was running hard at the Donegal defence. And, losing him so early was a double whammy, really, for the simple reason. Number one, he was playing that well himself, but also I imagine what it did was it meant Graham Riley was brought on a lot earlier than may have originally been intended. But I think Andy McEntee was quoted somewhere after as saying that the most important thing from a Meath perspective was to see that could they go to Croke Park and compete, and they most certainly did that. Maybe to a certain degree, a lot better than some people would have expected, but they did that. And I think, yes, it's disappointing, but it's the type of thing that they can only learn from, and if it's harnessed in the right way, which I've absolutely no doubt it will be, that it's something they can take so much from, and it could be a huge boost to them going forward. To turn attention now to the club championships, talking about Stuart Lowndes' goal last year, it doesn't seem all that long ago, and here we are, back round at the start of a new championship campaign again. I was very relieved to see the mind get off to a winning start again. Cora, defending champions is a different position to be in now. It brings a different sort of pressure, but while I think the lads would admit they've plenty to improve on, any night you go out and kick 116, you're not doing too bad. And, as I'm recording this, is Sunday, the second round is down for the next Thursday night against Wolf Tones, and that'll give us a far better indication of where we're going, I think. But, I suppose to get over the first hurdle and make a start, and that's all we can hope to do for now. And it's better to have 2 points on the board with plenty to work on than be going looking for them. Looking at some of the other results, well, as I've already sort of touched on, Simonstown and Wolf Tones, by all accounts, seem to be one of the games of the first round now. Things like this always sort of upset me for the simple reason there was a time, as many people would know, that I would be at games involving all clubs up and down the county, keeping an eye on what was going on across the championships, not only senior either, but intermediate, junior. I'd be liable to show up anywhere. I don't get to as many games as I used to now. It is, I might as well tell you, a cause of great upset. But by all accounts, the Simonstown Wolf Tones game was a cracker of a game the other night. And it's more, well, of course, as local derbies go, you won't get too many clubs as close to each other as they are, geographically at least. And by the looks of it, both of them are going to be forces to be reckoned with as well going forward. Just a quick look at some of the other divisions. Now, Brahmanis, I see, beat Sanchester in the first round by a goal. Now, Navan are top of the league as well, and there seems to be a serious rejuvenation going on there. And, experience has told me, and not only me, but I've heard it said so many times over the years, that when O'Mahony's come with a team, they're off a very hard beat, and they're certainly shaping as if that is going to be the case the coming year. I suppose the other bit of a surprise would have been Summerhill beating Donoughmore Ashbourne, or being beaten by Donoughmore Ashbourne in the first round. Of course, Summerhill beaten in the final the two previous seasons. Now, for many, many years, I would have felt that those very few clubs in the county had the potential to do what I thought Donoughmore Ashbourne might do, but for whatever reason, it never really sort of clicked for them. But no more than with O'Mahony's, as mentioned a minute ago. A result like that could be a statement of intent. And while, if I'm honest, after the mind beating Curaha, I'd be slightly concerned from our own perspective, because we have a long way to go to get back to where I would like us to be. At this stage of the year, everything is all to play for, and looking forward now to the second round next weekend. And we'll be hoping we get another long season of it, and when, as I spoke about at the start of the video, when you think about some of the things that are going on off the field, inspiration shouldn't be a problem anyway. To move on to news of horse racing now, and there's only one place we can start, and that's Tiger Road. What a horse! What a training performance! What a ride by Davy Russell! Um, I mean, if you think of it, I I watch horse racing nearly every day of the week now, and I would know a lot of the even smaller trainers in it. When I say know them, I mean know of them, not know them personally. But um, you know, I'm sure when Nigel Hogg sold Tiger Road for 80,000, he thought he was after winning the lotto. But my God, what the horses turned out to do has been nothing short of astounding. Um, I think the biggest thing I would take out of this year's entry Grand National was how easy he won it. I mean, he was put to the pin of his collar to win it in 2018, but uh, as I said, I was watching it in the bar in Ratoath at half time in the Moyne game, and Bar putting his head down for a pick of grass at a couple of the fences. At no stage did he look in trouble, and the minute Davy Russell pressed the button, he was just gone. Now, you know, everyone loves a romantic sort of sports story, and I can totally understand why people were saying, "Oh, Michael O'Leary should let him go for his third Gold Cup in a row, third Grand National in a row, or that." And yeah, it would be a romantic sort of a sports story, but I know if I owned him, half of me would be thinking retire him on the spot. He owes nobody anything, and some of what he has achieved in racing, or maybe all of what he has achieved in racing, will never be done again. But um, if ever there was a horse worthy of being put on a par with Red Rum, it's certainly him, because I always think, and this is the special thing for me at least about national hunt racing, that you know people with no major experience of or interest in the sport now know about Tiger Roll the same as they know about Cato Star or Arkle or Red Rum or any of the horses that sort of worked their way into people's consciousness over the years. Uh, I can totally understand Michael O'Leary saying he doesn't want him to go for a third one, even though I can see the appeal of trying to do it as well. They can do what they want with the horse, or they can do nothing with the horse. But he strikes me as the type of horse, if you tried to retire him, he probably wouldn't take it. So uh, we probably will get to see him for another while yet. But um, you know, doing what God only knows. Uh, Elsewhere in National Hunt Racing, I must congratulate the Noel Meade team, who the other night at Ballinrobe uh, recorded their 60th winner of the National Hunt season. It's an absolutely outstanding tally. I mean, let's be honest about it. There's very few, if any, could compete with the numbers and the money that Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott have behind them. But both from a personal point of view and just for racing in general, it's been great to see Noel having such a rejuvenation in the last couple of years, and the couple of weeks in the season left yet, it wouldn't at all surprise me. In fact, I'd expect that he will add to that winner tally going forward, and he's also had a number of winners on the flat in recent months as well. Uh, of course, as somebody said on the telly the other day, a lot of that has been down to She Is Diesel really clicking into gear on the all weather and Dundalk. But you know, it's it's great to see a man like that that's been training 48 years, still at the top of his craft, and by please God, the way things are going will be for a long time yet. By the way things are looking. Uh, while on that sort of subject, I must also mention Jim Boulder, who had an absolutely flying start to the flat season. I'm not even going to attempt to guess how many years Jim has been training, but he is one of the elder statesmen of the game. And, you know, most people would know that when it comes to racing, National Hunt will always be my first love. But if I have an interest in the flat, it's more often than not following Jim's. Many people will know how that connection came about, and I'm not about to elaborate on it here, but one thing I do know, and that was said to me numerous times over the years, is that Jim Bulger always does his horses ready early, and this year seems to be no exception. Uh, I often heard it said over the years that Jim would start to gallop what would be the 2-year-olds for a forthcoming flat season on a Christmas day. And whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I suspect that there may be a few grains of truth to it, at least judging by the manner in which his horses always start off the flat season at such a rapid rate, and this year would appear to be no exception. Moving on to soccer, just very briefly this time, I touched a little bit earlier on about uh, Sean Cox and the horrendous and life-changing circumstances that his family have been dealing with for more than nearly a year now. And last Friday night, of course, there was the Irish Legends against Liverpool Legends in the Aviva Stadium, and by all accounts, that was a great success. Uh, I think it was said there was a crowd of something like 27,000 in there, which is absolutely great to see. But every cent of the money that would be raised would be needed, and as time goes on, it can be hard sometimes to keep um, people and situations in mind and that. But I think it's one of the fantastic things about sport that uh, it's number one that everyone seems to rally round at a time when help is needed most, but the help stays there. And I know that myself from some of the battles I have gone through and I'm going through myself, that, having that safety net or support network there is absolutely vital. And I would encourage people to keep Sean in your mind, keep Sean in your thoughts. he has made, from what I can gather, astounding progress. I will admit that I haven't seen him myself since, and I will be wholly honest and say that I wouldn't have been able to emotionally handle seeing the other night, but uh, as many of you will know, I started working on a book last October. After our lads won the county championship, the second draft of which is now with the printers, I'm delighted to say, so we're getting very near to the end of the process. But just to remind people that when it does hit the shop shelves, half of any money raised from sales will go to the Support Sean Trust Fund. It's called Heroics and Heartache, an armchair view of an unforgettable year. And I would be very hopeful that it will be out in the not too distant future. And I am currently in the very, very, very early stages of setting about doing a second book, but that's a, that's a story for another day. But the first one, as I say, half the money will go to the Support Sean Fund, and please God, it won't be too far away now. Just very briefly to finish up this episode, just to touch on the golf for a moment. It is 10 to 12 on Sunday the 14th of April as I am recording this due to inclement weather forecast in America. They're saying that the start of the golf has been brought forward. I suppose the first headline that jumps out at me is Rory McIlroy again having a disaster around Augusta. In some ways you just have to feel sorry for the guy because every year he goes there looking like he's a powerful chance, and every year it just it backfires on him. But going into the last round, there's no doubt the major attraction at the minute anyway is Tiger's up there contending. Say what you like about him off the course, but on the course there's no doubt when he's on form he makes golf a whole lot more watchable. I posted on social media over the weekend that I actually haven't watched a whole pile of golf in recent years, but there's something about the US Masters. It's I suppose it's like the Grand National and the people that have a bet once a year or whatever. There's something about the Masters that pulls me back in every year, and I found myself glued to it the last 3 days. And I'm just looking at the clock, counting down now for the coverage to start again. Because as it happens, it's a quiet day on the GA front. But I had a couple of bets and I backed Tiger and I backed Ian Poulter, and both of them are in contention. So following them will keep me happy for the day anyway. I hope, as well as flicking around racing and GA matches on TG4 and whatnot. But I know this might have been a little bit disjointed and all over the place, but I just wanted to put something together because I hadn't done in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully it won't be too long till I do another one, and I'll talk to you all soon.